It was the day that the sprawling ranch in Santa Fe stood eerily quiet. Gene Hackman's ranch, the one he owned with Betsy Arakawa. This once vibrant estate, where Gene Hackman spent his final years in seclusion with his wife, would spend a certain period of time as a crime scene of curiosity. Its gates locked, its halls empty, and its secrets unraveling like the plot of a scandalous Hollywood thriller. When the news broke, the world mourned the loss of the legendary actor and the woman he loved. But what came next, no one saw coming. But here we did, and we hinted about it. Gene Hackman's children, the ones who bore his name, were left with nothing. On paper, cut and dry, they were to receive a handful of air, if you get what we're saying. There was the shockwave of the will looming. As the ink dried on the legal papers, whispers turned into headlines. Christopher, Elizabeth, and Leslie Hackman, the children from his first marriage, found themselves erased from their father's legacy. The will, meticulously written, coldly omitted them in favor of one person, Betsy Arakawa, his reclusive second wife. Some say Betsy was the only person Gene truly trusted in his later years. Others speculate darker forces were at play. But what no one could deny was the sheer brutality of the legal document. No vague wording, no split assets. Nothing, not a dime. A marriage cloaked in mystery. For decades, Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa lived far from Hollywood's flashing cameras. Their love story, while seemingly serene, had its own air of mystery. Betsy, 30 years younger, met Hackman in a gym while he was still married to Faye Maltese, his first wife and the mother of his 3 children. The marriage collapsed soon after. Some believe Betsy was the reason for the split. Others argue she was simply the consequence of a relationship already fractured. Gene and Betsy married in 1991 and vanished from the public eye. While Gene's children grew older, started families, and lived their own lives, he built a new one without them. The tragic double death. The eerie part? Both Gene and Betsy died within days of each other. Betsy, at just 65, succumbed to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare and brutal disease linked to rodents. Days later, Gene Hackman, at 95, in advanced state of Alzheimer's, followed. But here's where the real intrigue begins. Their wills were written on the same day. The exact same day. June 2005. Almost 2 decades ago. Why? Was it a mutual pact? A calculated move? Whatever the case, all in this notion may tell us why Gene and Betsy had not recently interacted with Gene's children. You can see what may have destroyed the family communication. With his kids having an idea that they were being left out, their motivation to stay involved with their father would have probably been very low. That's just how humans think, no matter what kind of people they are. Can you blame them? The legal bombshell. If Betsy outlived Gene, everything was hers. But if they died within 90 days of each other, her will demanded the estate be donated to charity. With both of them gone, a massive legal vacuum opened, and Gene Hackman's children suddenly had something to fight for. Enter Julia L. Peters, the second in command for handling the estate. With Michael Sutton, the original executor, dead since 2019, Peters was now the gatekeeper of Hackman's fortune. And she had decisions to make. Would Gene's children contest the will? Would Betsy's side of the family step in? And what about Hollywood lawyers who smelled a payday in the making? The inevitable war. If Hollywood has taught us anything, money brings war. Gene Hackman's estate, valued at nearly $80 million, is now up for grabs. His children, though legally disinherited, could contest the will. Under undue influence laws. They could argue that their father's mental state in his final years made him vulnerable to manipulation. Or perhaps what's left of Betsy's family, if any, will fight to honor her wishes and give it all to charity, leaving Gene's children completely shut out. Lawyers are lining up. Family tensions are boiling over. And the ghost of Gene Hackman looms over the battlefield. Who will walk away with the fortune? Who will be left with nothing? And was this Gene Hackman's final Hollywood twist? The final judgment. Before you think you know it all, keep in mind how tedious and painstaking probate can and will be in this final judgment. No matter what you may guess or think, the courts don't care. The main thing to know is this: if there are no minors or dependent heirs involved, no one is automatically entitled to anyone's possessions. Directions in a will and estate give the courts the guidance to proceed, and even that varies from state to state. And if you look closely at how Gene had this set up, no one involved in the planning could have speculated we would be in this situation. Look at how many key people have died, people who could have affected the final allocation of the Hackman estate assets. It looks like Gene's children could have a strong argument, but it's not cut and dry. After all, Betsy, on the other hand, had plans to give it all to charity. Man, this is a blockbuster of a movie plot. This isn't just a will, it's a script worthy of an Oscar. A story of family betrayal, secret marriages, mysterious deaths, and a fortune hanging in the balance. Comment below. Who do you think will or should get Gene Hackman's fortune? Should his kids fight back? Should the money go to charity? Or was Hackman's decision justified? Let's discuss. Subscribe for more jaw-dropping Hollywood scandals and untold history. Look for more on the Anything History channel.